Paul Thomas, Executive Director of the Seneca Lake Wine Trail, with Marti Macinski, co-owner of Standing Stone Vineyards. Marti, thanks for coming out.
Thanks for coming, Paul.
Tell us a little bit about Standing Stone, the history.
The history actually predates us, which is kind of cool. Gold Seal Vineyards in the 60s thought that vinifera should be happening in the Finger Lakes. And they did 3 years of research on 3 big lakes. And after 3 years of research, they came here and spent, at the time, a lot of money to buy this land and planted Riesling and Chardonnay.
So they're probably the oldest
They're
Riesling.
Some of the oldest Riesling and Chardonnay on Seneca Lake.
Mm-hmm.
So then 20 years later, when Tom and I decided that the obvious answer to what do a chemist and a lawyer do is start a winery, and we had done some research and decided that what we thought we should be growing and planting and working with were all vinifera, Riesling and Gewürztraminer predominantly, we somehow connected with the property. It wasn't really for sale, and we weren't sure what we could do to buy anything, but it ended up working out.
Wow, and so it's a husband-wife combination.
That is.
Do you have other members of the family?
We do not. Our daughter is not real excited about vineyards, but when you buy a vineyard when your daughter is a pre-teenager, that's to be expected. Our granddaughter's only 8, so we're not pushing her.
Not yet, at least. She has a couple more years to watch cartoons, right? And
that's
recreate.
Right. Although she does help with wine blending trials when she's here.
Does she really?
Yes.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
she gets more tips at the cash register than anybody else in the tasting
sure
room.
She does. She'll come to love being in a winery.
Exactly.
That's the whole master plan, right?
Yes.
So tell me again, how many years have you been?
We just passed our 21st harvest, so
okay.
I've been joking, we are now legal.
And it's you and Tom, your
Tom
husband.
and I, yep.
How do you divide the labor between the two of you here in the business?
Well, we both work 24/7, as I know you've heard from every other winery. But essentially, I'm the winemaker and more sales tasting room manager, and Tom does the vineyards and handles the tractors and tries to bring 32 years of IBM management expertise to grape growing, which is interesting to watch.
I bet that is. I'll bet you find some good things, though, too. It's an industry that probably can benefit from some organization
yes.
at times compared to some of our other members of the industry. So tell me about some of the highlights, some of the wines you're especially proud of.
Well, it's interesting. We started out fully intending to make Riesling and Gewürztraminer. That was 1991. I don't know if you were around then, but it was pretty difficult to sell Riesling, and you couldn't even give away Gewürztraminer then. So I think what's really, really pleasing is to be able to say consistently, we were right, because now when you go to Manhattan, of course, Mecca for wine sales, and you say, we went into business to make Riesling and Gewürztraminer that were world class, everybody nods their heads in agreement. So that feels like a vindication of sorts, although there were times we thought we were just in the wrong way entirely. And then the newest and most exciting project is, which is really, really new, like effective today, is we're just releasing our Separavi, which is a Georgian, think Russia, Georgian grape.
Okay.
6,000-year-old vinifera vines, a vinifera variety. And we couldn't label it as Separavi until we did the homework and did the petition and just got our label approval. So the first American labeled Separavi rolled off our line about 2 hours ago.
Wow!
Really
Congratulations!
Exciting. And it makes this inky purple, deep, dark, Rhone-like red that nobody can say, I don't think they should grow reds in the Finger Lakes. So it's a particularly satisfying experience.
And so for the viewers who are maybe watching this is right now we're in May of 2014.
Right.
And so when will this be available to the public to buy?
Tomorrow.
Okay, all right, so it'll be right out there in the marketplace.
It's one of those wines that ages. They say in Georgia that it typically ages for 50 years, but it's very, very accessible, unlike a Cab or a Pinot or some of the varieties we've had trouble with that come out nice if you wait. Mm-hmm. This seems to go in the bottle and just want to be in people's glasses.
Wow,
so we intend to start with that. My guess is April's actually using some of it today.
Okay, of course, I should hope so. Get a jump start on it.
Exactly.
So how much of that do you have planted, may I ask?
We're pushing 4 acres, and another acre will go in at the end of this month. If the weather, it finally looks like it might happen at the end of this month. A month ago, I wasn't so sure.
Gotcha. So you continue to do planting,
yes,
to plant more
yes.
vines.
It seems to be, we're selling this at $29.99, which is not an overly expensive, but not overly cheap. And last year we sold the first 200 cases, which we called the dark red, out in 8 months.
Wow.
Yes.
So why not plant more?
Yes.
Clearly the market has
yes.
spoken. Well, congratulations.
Yes.
That's really exciting.
And it's exciting because a few others are actually working it into their programs as well. So I don't think it'll be just us.
So once again, you're on the cutting edge.
We like to be.
Anything else you'd like to talk about, Marti?
Well, I think the other thing that we get a fair amount of recognition that was a little surprising is our ice style wines. I'm very careful because those who make real ice wines are very careful to protect their real ice wine status. We harvest our grapes late harvested, we freeze commercially, and then we make a just killer, delicious dessert wine out of 4 different varieties that's very affordable, and people are really enjoying that.
It is yummy. When I
Yes.
got into this industry, I was very dismissive of anything sweet.
Yes.
Because I
As
thought
were
I was
we.
cool.
Oh, as
Because
we
I was
all-
cool, of course.
Well,
you're not
you'll
gonna
like this story. We almost ripped the Vidal vineyard out because we were going to be such a vinifera house
Yeah.
that we don't want none of those Vidals there. Well, now it's kind
Turns
of
out.
important.
Pretty darn delicious, it turns out, when you know what you're doing with it, right?
That's right. That's right.
Very good. Well, thank you very much for your time, Marty.
Thank you.